Naya Mukami.
Yes, Anki.
How are you?
I'm all right. Yourself?
I am fantastic. I am excited because I know for sure that every time we have the Arrive Alive segment, we get up and we get to, come up with a lot of solutions.
Yes.
Sitting together and reasoning together on matters road safety is just it for the morning drift.
Yeah.
How was your travel here? You didn't meet a lot of traffic today?
Not really. But on my way here, I was talking to the driver who dropped me here, and we actually discussed a lot about, mental health, when it comes to driving and road safety and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, what was his perspective? What did he say? He's an Uber driver?
Yes, he's an Uber driver. Mm-hmm. And he was, we actually had a conversation for the few minutes I was in there, and I asked him what if he's ever been involved in an accident, and what happened, what made the accident happen. And he was like, oh, at first he just laughed. And I'm like, just feel free, talk to me, because I'm going to do this interview and we're trying to bring solutions actually. And he said, okay, he was coming from Kitui and, they were speeding. It was that time of the curfew and they were really stressed because they needed to get to Nairobi before the curfew time. And I was like, yeah, see, stress, mental health. So could that be the underlying issues with the boda riders and the drivers on the road? And it got me thinking, and I'm like, yeah, because Kenyans, we don't have that, talking about mental health. We are just starting to talk about mental health. Like that was not a topic of discussion. So we are trying to normalize people going for therapy to prevent all what is happening right now. It's so sad. It's really, really sad. And I feel like people need help and we need to look out for each other.
I like when you talked about the accident, and speaking of, we were stressed, having the curfew.
Yes.
You don't want to get arrested, but you want to get there on time.
Yeah.
So when your emotions are triggered on the other side, you go to an extreme and then you lose control.
Yes.
So, Mr. Worochet would say, okay, good morning to him. He would say that it is not you who's driving. Driving is not about the eyes and hands, it is the brain.
Exactly.
You are a medic.
Yes.
Let's start with what you do. Maybe so
Okay.
people can understand why you have the authority also to discuss this.
Yeah.
House Call Medics. Yes.
Okay. So now House Call Medics is an organization. I'm the founder. We are two of us, myself, Nahia. I've been in emergency medicine for 10 years. And Dr. Mukami Gathariki, she's a plastic and reconstructive surgeon. So I deal with the emergency part. She deals with now the wound part, reconstructive part. And so what we do, we are trying to bridge that gap where we believe that everyone deserves quality medical services regardless of whether you're able to go to the hospital or not. Because I'm sure you've come across a very, very old person trying to be assisted to get into a matatu to go to the hospital. It's strenuous for them. They're not feeling well at that point. And maybe this person, like I met an older lady who was coming all the way from Lolongo. She was sick. She unfortunately had a tumor that was cancerous. She was in so much pain. Her daughter was taking her to Kenyatta. And it happened. I was going to town for some reason, and because I was heading to work. And we met at Railways, and I'm like, are you sure you guys are okay? She's like, yeah, but my mom is not feeling well. I was like, yeah, I can see that because she looks like she's in so much pain. Yeah. It got to me, and I felt so proud to have started something like House Call Medics, where such an old lady doesn't have to come all the way from Lolongo where we can get to her. We can go to her and provide the medical service that she needs, in the comfort of her own home. And now that House Call Medics has partnered up with Mirazi, which is a multi-speciality clinic, a co-working hub for doctors. They have all specialists under one roof, urologists, surgeons, pediatricians. We are trying to make medicine or medical services accessible to you. We come to your house, everything under one roof.
Amazing. I'm looking at how this is connected to road safety. Number one, if I have to rush someone who is not well to the hospital, I am honestly in panic. Exactly. I am stressed. I am emotionally distressed, but I'm the driver.
Yeah.
So you're giving me an option of calling House Call Medics instead of having to drive speed
Yes.
on the road.
Yeah.
Also, there's been something which people are trained about, and they know if you are sick,
Yeah.
you are advised medically to keep away from the steering wheel. Am I correct?
Yes.
And why?
120%. Because at that moment, physically, you're not well. Emotionally, you're stressed because you're stressed, you're thinking that you're not well, am I going to make it? And you really want to get to that hospital because no one wants to die, really. We are just we are all trying to survive, right? So for you to, get that phone, call House Call Medics. These are people who are trained to deal with stress in any kind of situation. Okay. If Anki, unfortunately someone gets into an accident and maybe it's a family member or a friend and they call you, what can you do if you're not trained? What can you do? You're going, like I said before, you're going to cause more harm than good, because the one thing that you're supposed to do is keep this person calm. How are you going to keep someone else calm when you are not calm? How are you able to deal with that stress? You're going to damage your mental health, and this other person is never going to be okay, and they're never going to recover from it, right? But if you call people who have been trained to do emergency evacuations and to just come and keep you calm and talk to you, explain to you what's happening, make sure you're okay, and take you to the hospital safely, you'll thank this person. And you won't have to deal with the mental issues later.
And I want to talk about the mental issues. There's something that is now causing uproar on social media, and that is on the Boda Boda issue. I sat back for a second there and I thought, there's so much road rage.
Yes.
Too much road rage. We cannot, we cannot hardly comprehend.
Okay.
It's road rage between Boda Boda riders and pedestrians, Boda Boda riders, motorists, matatu, drivers against private-owned vehicles. And I thought to myself, what if there's an underlying issue that could be mental health? It's not like they're crazy.
Yeah.
But there is so much going on that we are not looking at, perhaps.
Yes.
Yes.
First of all, not all Boda Boda riders are bad. That we have to put it out there. Some of them have families, some of them are fathers, but some of them are young people. Young people.
Most of them are
most of them actually, who just want to make money. There's anxiety, there's depression. People are saying all over social media, uchumi umepanda. So people are just trying to get that bread by the end of the day. There's a lot of competition. We are complaining a lot, right? But who's checking about their mental health? Are they okay? Is everything okay? Like you said, is there an underlying issues? And I think yes, because when you're stressed, you're not able to think positively. You're not able to think right. You just want to, let's say someone is angry. Maybe you've had a family dispute, or you fought with your wife or a friend, or work is not going great. You're really angry, you're stressed. You get in your car, you start speeding. What will happen on the road? You might cause an accident, cost someone their life. Then what will happen to you? You'll get arrested. You'll be taken to jail. What happens after you get out after 5-10 years? You're getting out, yes, you learn something, but you're getting out, you have guilt. You're depressed. No one has come to talk to you. You've not gone to a psychiatrist. You've not gone to a psychologist. Nothing, right? And you're released now into the world. You might harm yourself. You might harm someone else.
And when you're talking about that, we're also taking a look at the young people who, most Boda Boda riders are graduates. I will say most.
Okay.
Yeah, because the unemployment has also shot up. And we're looking at, are they just dealing with some mental health issues, underlying issues that we are not talking about? Just like we had to address the police, who are, of course, dying by suicide and shooting people left, right, and center. Could it be a wake-up call for the mental health discussion and awareness when it comes to road safety? We're still here with the founder, House Call Medics. We take a short breather, and we're coming back. Let us know what you think as well. Thank you for staying with us. It's very timely, the discussion we're having today, because you need to arrive alive. You could have the best training, have the best car, know your car really well, have it serviced, but if you're not good mentally, who is in control? Does the car control itself? Does the motorbike control itself? Or is it the driver?
It's the driver.
Yes.
100% of the time, it's the driver. And I have to say that even you as a passenger, how do you contribute to this? Most of us, why would you choose to be in a boda boda and not an Uber or a matatu? Because you want to get somewhere fast. Mm-hmm. They are known for that.
Yes.
And who makes that decision of speeding?
The pillion?
You're the one who tells, the passenger is the one who actually tells the boda boda rider, you know, I have to be somewhere in 10 minutes. You're stressing this person who's on the wheel. If you're making him overspeed, you might get into an accident. You're supposed to keep calm. If you need to get somewhere earlier, well, wake up early.
Yeah.
Do
proper planning.
Give yourself some time. Do proper planning. Yes.
You know, you go to a point where matatus were, I mean, they're still known for that, overlapping, etc. But I've seen them put stickers like "Kamo kona haraka, shuka ukimbie, shuka utembee." They're trying to communicate something to the passengers as well. Allow me to also refer to the incident last year, which of course was a talk of town. May their souls continue to rest in peace. The people we lost at River Nziu.
Yes.
And I think one of the the report said that they had pushed the driver to move faster. They said, cross, that it was all flooded, but said, we need to get there on time to just, do something about it. And the driver seemed to have no option.
Yes.
Yeah. So they put pressure on him.
They did. So we are not saying that it's their fault that happened, but when you're in such a situation, just keep calm and try to think straight. Because, like I said, putting pressure on the driver is not going to help. You're all going to do more damage. You might cause an accident. Like, how many people died? How many? That is something, okay, death is inevitable, but there are things that we can prevent. Yeah.
All right. And I hope you're also following closely the conversation. I can see Edgar Nyahururu, he says he's handsome. Nasema Nyahururu tuned, good morning. Thank you for tuning in. Oyando Wycliffe says, watching live from Kisii branch. Good morning. And Princess Becky Lynch, I hope I pronounced that correctly, saying, our own Naya, that's interesting. We want to at least smile at Becky. My goodness, how she woke up so early to support you. People have asked, and you asked me right here, we've had matatus, be in the same situation. There was a sexual assault or a harassment in one of the matatus some years ago, but it's pretty much still going on. And people are asking if what the government is doing is now the solution to the boda boda menace. I don't know what you have to say from your, your area of expertise.
Let me say something about the assault. Women are so vulnerable. That incident happened years ago. And everyone was saying that it was maybe because of the way she was dressing. But the incident that happened recently, the lady was in her own car. Whom did she provoke in her own car? Okay? That's so wrong. And that is so sad. Because how is she going to be able to recover from that? It's not that women don't have a voice. We need to encourage people to listen to us. There's only so much we can do. And men need to be protectors of women. We are vulnerable. Why would you cause such a thing? An accident has happened. Like I said, we don't, at that moment, I remember the last interview I said, we are not going to do the blame game and start saying, you caused this, you caused this. We need to leave that to the authority. And when this gets to the authority, it just doesn't, it needs to be investigated. And not just the simple investigation, even their mental health. Get someone to talk to these guys. What happened? Like, what happened in the morning when you got up? When you went to bed, what was happening? Did you get maybe a text when you're driving? the boda rider? Was someone calling you, harassing you, someone pushing you to like go somewhere fast? Is it the association? Like, I'm sure this boda have associations, right? The matatus, they have an association. How about having maybe monthly meetings and call a psychologist, a psychiatrist to talk to your people? We are all trying to be the change you want to see in the world, right? That change starts with you. Standing up for yourself, you are unknowingly standing up for everyone. Yeah.
And now they're being arrested, probably put in the cells. You are therefore recommending that these people need more than just, you know, training.
Yes.
They need to be checked mentally. So you're urging the government and the authorities to bring on board counselors, therapists, and psychologists.
Yes.
But what do you do if they're not willing to talk? Because most of the times people who are not okay are in denial.
You know, nothing happens overnight. Even when you go for therapy, you can't expect to heal then, and no one can ever force you to go for therapy. That is why we are trying to do such interviews and posting mental health videos and partnering up with foundations like Sumaya Foundation. They're biggest advocates of mental health, and they're trying to help victims of sexual assault and bridging that gap of the victims and, you know, the help that they're going to get. And they're educating men and women on sexual, because we feel like we're supposed to have an event, we call it a galley camp, but men are welcomed on 19th in Jericho, right, to talk about sexual assault. A lawyer will be there. They'll be talking now on the legal perspective of that, and as medics will be talking about now the mental issues and what you're supposed to do, the first aid, whom you're supposed to run to. And I'm happy to say that now House Call Medics has opened up a platform with a psychiatrist, a psychologist, the wellness doctor, Dr. Vundi, where you can, you know, just give us a call.
Okay.
We'll book you a session. Talk to us. You're having a bad day. You've woken up feeling not like yourself. Because people think that actually depression is when you're screaming on top of your lungs. And but depression could be something like you just don't want to answer a text. You don't want to answer a call from a family member. You feel lonely, but you don't want company. There is stress everywhere. Everything is just in chaos. So we are trying to normalize therapy. Help yourself to be able to help others. If you help yourself mentally, you take your car, you're on the road, you're feeling good, you're driving safe because you love your life and love yourself. Love yourself. I'll never say that enough. If you love yourself, you won't be able to get behind that wheel when you're stressed, when you're drunk. You won't be able to, because no one wakes up in the morning and says, oh, today I'm going to kill someone, or today I'm going to cause an accident, or today I'm going to harass someone. This is something that just happens to you when you're in that negative mental state. And we are trying to normalize going for therapy, helping yourself, for the boda drivers, for the matatu drivers, for the conductors, for doctors, for nurses, for paramedics, for policemen, for everyone. I feel like this is a topic that needs to be discussed so much every now and then. Yes. And
when you're talking about, you know, your mental health, I'm looking at a situation where I am behind the wheels, because like right now we're right here on set.
Yes.
And we've had people talk about designated drivers, and people think you only need a designated driver when you are drunk.
Yeah.
All right. What about if it's you're going through, you know, something, or you just got a really bad text? Is it not okay to just pull over?
Yes.
Maybe rest, just the same way you feel exhausted and you need to nap a little bit, because that still impairs, you know, your thinking and your coordination. I don't know what you have to say about that, but I think if I was having a good day and then I get a text that somebody I know or someone beloved has passed on and they're very close, disorients me, I could call James Kenywa and say, hey, I'm over here, you need to come, you know, help me out. I'll be parked somewhere at a gas station. I don't know what you have to say, but I think that's another thing that really causes accidents.
Yes,
yeah,
it really does. Because, okay, I'll give you an example. Let's say I'm in an ambulance, I have a patient.
Yes.
It's very stressful, of course. And this patient is actually flatlining and I have to do CPR. I can't do that when the ambulance is moving.
Okay.
I'm stressed, I'll stress the driver, then what will happen? And we have a patient in there. We'll have to park and do our CPR. If an ambulance can do that, you can do that with your personal car. Park somewhere, meditate, get your, your head right. If you're not able to drive, call someone, call a family member, call a friend. If you're able to, call an Uber. If you're able to, if the boda bodas, come back to work, call one. Tell them, I need to just be in a safe place. I can't drive. Because if you drive in that situation, you're going to cause harm, which is really not good.
And that reminds me how Mr. Rotet says, the driver says, I did not see, I did not hear, I did not even think. It's because they're probably stressed or dealing with a mental health issue. At
that point, their head is so far away. They're not even able to think straight. Yeah, like even as passengers, we really need to speak up. Because once I was in a matatu that was coming all the way from Dagoretti, it was a bus. Do you know the driver drove from Dagoretti without stopping, speeding at night, but no one spoke up. It got to a point I said, you know what, I just need to alight. Just stop, I'll get off and I'll wait for something else. I'll wait for someone else to come and pick me up. I feel like passengers, we need to speak up. Yeah.
Why do you think that driver, we wouldn't really know to date?
Yes.
You reminded me that not everyone who drives a matatu is the owner of the matatu.
Yes.
What if we speak to the matatu owners?
Yes.
Because I feel they're given targets, even boda bodas. You see these boda boda riders, I've heard from so many people, majority of them are employed to move those boda bodas. That's why even when we were talking about licenses the other day, you find that the vehicle is insured, but the driver isn't.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at, are they probably looking quote unquote rogue or trying to look disrespectful because they're trying to hit a target that the owner has given them? Because that's already pressure.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if you feel the same way.
I feel the same way, honestly speaking. Like even the buses that go to Mombasa or Kisumu or where, they have like a designated time that they have to arrive.
Okay.
And sometimes they tend to overspeed because of that. It's just crazy on the roads. You're the only sane driver, so take care of your mental health. Love yourself to a point of you'll never get behind the wheel when you're stressed, when you're depressed, when you're angry, when you're crying, when you're shaking, all that. Yeah.
What if the problem is myself, Naya here, Mau, Griffith? What if we are the problem? And I'd really love to hear from you guys. Of course, Mr. Kahara has been quiet today and the rest. And of course, as we're giving the training, one of the things I would ask, because NTSA has really said we have a good curriculum, and I'm wondering, as we're encouraging people to do eye tests and everything else and refresher courses, as house call medics, have you walked into some driving schools and noticed maybe there could be a mental health segment?
I don't think they ever teach that. And even the assessment that's usually done, the mental health part needs to be assessed too.
Okay.
Yeah, because me having the best driving skills and being mentally, or mentally unable to be behind the wheel, then how are you helping the people out there? How are you helping the people on the roads?
If they went into the cells and their licenses revoked, if anything, the boda boda riders might come out more angry.
Yeah, mental health. Who's talking to them about their mental health? Who's counseling them?
Okay. All right.
It all goes down to mental health, honestly speaking.
So tell us, how do we get to reach House Call Medics, even as we close the show? Because people feel like, okay, we might want to get in touch. Maybe they will not speak as a circle. Maybe they want to come individually.
Yes, that's not a problem. You just call our numbers, follow us on social media, on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook. Just text us. We have a number 0704 03 8589. Just give us a call any time of the day. We are here for you 24/7. Your health is our priority.
I like that. And of course, I'm hoping that President Uhuru Kenyatta also talks about their mental health.
Yes.
These people need more. There's an underlying issue. And I know we want to end the Arrive Alive segment. But remember, everyone's looking at solutions. Everyone's looking at rebuke and blame, like you said. But what if we are not handling the real issue? Kinywa is saying, kuna saying inasemanga, kama uko na haraka, ungetoka jana. A good that's a good one.
Yeah.
Any closing remarks?
Mental health Mental health, mental health. Let's normalize therapy. Let's try to help each other. If someone calls you, they're not feeling well, just answer. If you feel like you don't have the answers, call House Call Medics.
There we go. And that's how I end this. Remember, if you love your people, check your mental health and ensure that everyone on the road is safe. Please don't wait until it blows up. We really don't know in the incident if the lady was okay, all right, when the accident happened, if the Boda Boda riders were okay. I think there's much to assess in that particular situation. And maybe when we begin from there, when we speak to each of them, we get to understand what we can do to avoid accidents, because of course Mr. Worchet would say we cannot avoid accidents, but we can avoid a crash.
Yes.
So check your mental health. That's what we're saying this morning, and at the end of the day, let's all arrive alive. Thank you, Nahia, for coming.
Thank you.
Come again.
I will.
We'll be right back with the big conversation, and today just honoring amazing women who do amazing things. Remember, I'm still feeling the vibe, of course, of the International Women's Day, and March is also a month honoring women in history. So how about we do this? Good morning.